Good morning, everybody. This is a new episode of Mrs. Pinky Thoughts. I am your host, Nicole Pinkston. I am so glad that you can join us for a new episode. This is season 8, episode 3. We're talking about self-esteem and self-confidence. I'm your host, and today you're not going to really see me on the visual podcast. I'm a little under the weather, but we're going to still get this show on the road. We're going to go over some free stuff that we did in our newsletter, and we're going to talk about some new, exciting, iconic news for today's episode. Today's episode is sponsored by our iconic outreach campaign, where we're going to give some books away in Atlanta with the Conscious Conservative Movement on January 27th. We're raising an additional $400. The campaign is so that way we can bring information to locals in the area. So I thank you so much for joining us. Yes, again, season 8, episode 3, self-esteem, confidence, and some exciting news update. I went around pre-research and I found some information that I thought you guys should know. So I made sure to put that inside today's show. And also that's another newsletter. So when we do anything that has to do with families or whatever, we do that. And if you would like to donate to our iconic formula for success at gogetfunding.com/iconic formula, that's where we're raising funds to get you on a pre-order list for our 6th book that's coming out sometime soon. Our biggest thing we're doing right now is we're going to give out 3,000 copies for the year 2024, because Iconic's mission is to make sure that we have something for families and couples that are interested in building social empires that thrive. We want to put our information out there. We don't do red pills or blue pills, no pills over here. We actually have a 12-step formula based in my 12 years of marriage. And I pull from different activities and stories. Yes, it's the same name of our online e-course. So we make sure that you have something that you can refer back to. You might not be able to do a 30-day e-course, or the people we give these awards to may not be able to do 30-day e-course. So we are making it available to you in book format to explain how you can have a marriage that lasts in today's society. We thank you again for joining us. Again, I'm under the weather, so you're just listening to my audio, and shout out to all our audio subscribers who are listening to what we got going on today. I also updated the Iconic Formula for Marriage Success website with the actual marriage data that we have today. So right now, you're going to see me on the screen scrolling through the Iconic website. I just want to give you guys a visual what actually you can see when you go over Iconic. These are our newsletters, our podcast premiums that are locked for premium subscribers are all up and down the menu. Iconic, our logo colors are gold. Across the top, we have different sections, notes. You can join us in the interactive chat. You have to go back to each one. We have our library of books. You click that, it takes you right to our Gumroad page with our stuff, including our 5 digital copies and our Iconic newsletter. If you I'm sorry, I keep clicking back and forth, but if you're interested in buying any of our merch, we have discounts, sometimes 20% off. We have discounts, sometimes free shipping. You can click that at the top. I'm giving you a navigating the different websites. You can see the Mrs. Pinky logo on different items. And we did the work to put all of our external websites all in one place on Substack, so it's not difficult for you to find. And all of the things you decide to invest in us, it's all fungible. It all helps us with our mission daily. And this website and a couple of these things were all created at different times, but I didn't want you guys trying to figure out where all of this stuff is. So it's all at the top. If you want to donate to us directly, if you refer a friend, you can get on our leaderboard. It's all there. If you become a premium subscriber for $5 a month, $50 one time yearly at a 2-month discount, you can get our new podcast episodes like the one that we're doing right now. And this is just something extra we want to give us. If you want to donate just directly with your Stripe or your PayPal, you can click donate at the top. And the funds are used for a couple of things. It's to help me get my coaching and tuition that I need to make sure that I can do the 6th book. The donation goes to our free materials that we award every month to everyone else. And it helps us keep Iconic up and running, the background maintenance and things like that. So again, today's episode is season 8, episode 3, self-esteem, confidence, and our Iconic news update. So every week we give you 2 to 3 newsletter episodes that are free to you, and we want to help you individually and as a couple. For our first quarter of 2024, we're focusing on women and girls. And last week, day 3, we was talking about self-esteem. And we define self-esteem as how you feel about you. You know, not what everybody else tells you you should be, not how the Bible describes how you should be. These are the feelings you have for you. I'm not going to reiterate the newsletter. You can go in there and read it for yourself. But my hope is that if I build up individuals, then when individuals become couples, they are whole as they become one flesh. Society plays a huge role in that, and all of the propaganda stuff that tries to make us different girls. And as I'm scrolling through the newsletter, you know, I'm letting you know that these are strategies to help you have your better self. I chose an image with a young lady that has a lot of positive words that you can use to describe yourself. I am courageous, I am independent, I am grounded, I am captivating, I am joyful, I am playful. You know, all kinds of positive words that show that you love you. You can't love someone else, you can't love God, you can't love your family if loving yourself is difficult. And I personally had to learn to love me too. Like I talk about my story, Breaking Fear, in which because of everything that went on in my life, and then I finally was happy, and then I turned around and lost my child, I wanted to die. I wanted to go to heaven with my baby. I was like, I'm tired, you know? So how do you strengthen your self-esteem? We kind of know what it is. And how do you build that and building that self-confidence to help you win? And we explain self-confidence in a little bit. And yeah, you can pray. Yeah, you can ask God. Yeah, you can have a good family. You can have a spouse that loves you. But how do you make sure that you love you? What do you do to know that you're wonderfully and woefully made, to be sure that you're taking good care of your hygiene, you're taking good care of your health, you're doing dieting. Um, do you know that when you know your own value, you don't modify it to fit others who can't see it? If they don't see it in you, and I'm telling you, if you're on social media, a lot of people, like people will talk about the way I look, the way I talk, my deep voice, my accent, and I would freaking fold if I didn't have positive self-esteem. So what are some strategies people who unleash their self-esteem positively, what do they do? Number one, they set boundaries. They know what they want, who they want in their lives, and how to say no. People who are secure in themselves make decisive choices and own up to their mistakes. They're good leaders and followers because they know their own limits and how to challenge themselves without going too far. Boundaries are very important. They're the walls that protect you. They're the walls that make you feel better and help you do what you need to do. People like this They don't seek attention. People who have self-esteem that is high, they don't need validation from others. They don't do wild and crazy things just for the dopamine hits and the excitement of others. They don't embarrass themselves publicly for all the eyes on them. And everything they do is for a greater vision, purpose. It isn't that they don't perform or entertain, but that is usually not just for selfish needs. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, but if you understand people with self-esteem carry themselves in a different way. They don't, twerk on a table in a restaurant, and they don't do crazy outlandish things for hits on social media. They don't embarrass their spouses. They don't show up to their kids' schools doing weird things and things of that nature. Again, these are strategies to see what high self-esteem looks like. People with high self-esteem, they don't have this big grandiose ego, like they're not inflated or narcissists. You know, they are just valuing themselves for existing. And what you do with your value, how you value yourself, is up to you. It's not society's job. A lot of people like to blame society and say, well, society tells women that they need to be like this, and then they are raised to take care of others and do all this other stuff. But when we become adults, when we hit 21 or 25, when our brain fully develops, at that point, we get to decide who, what, when we do, so we can live in our God-given, our God-given, um, our God-given talents. Number 3, we know how to forgive ourselves. We know we're only human. People with healthy self-esteem do not stay stuck in their past, intentional or not. If you used to be a stripper, you used to sleep around, you got jailed, you didn't finish college, you have to take care of kids. We move forward. You don't keep on humping on the things that you should have did or could have did or would have did, because you know that things happen. You know that life has stuff thrown at you, and you don't stay stuck in your situation, but you always move to better, to your better intellect, to your better health, to a better career, to a better relationship. You forgive yourself for who you were, and you try to um, work on being better. Your self-esteem is high, so you're secure in the fact that things happen and that was your past, and you forgive yourself so you know how to forgive others. And as we go down, the rest of the article, I talk about I didn't have self-esteem, and I managed the way I view correctly, but it didn't come overnight. I had to go through things and learn the lessons that I would learn, and I didn't do it alone. I had my husband, I had my family, I had mentors throughout my military career, leaders who helped guide me, and my coach who's training me right now that I pay for her classes through my beloved women's ministry to build my business and build myself up so I can lead others. I led people in war. But that's what Iconic is. We're here to help you do the same thing. And if you need one-on-one coaching and you want someone in your corner to help you through, whatever you need to help through, or just maybe you just need that extra boost, we do have our Iconic Media Coaching platform. It's in the newsletter over at mrspinkythoughts.substack.com. And we're accepting about 10 clients a month. And if you're ready, payment is $100 at scheduling. And we don't just deal with self-esteem and self-confidence. We also deal with if you're trying to start homeschooling, if you have communication issues in your marriage, if you need some help family planning, vision planning, mission planning, grocery shopping, dealing with elderly kids, issues, parenting. We do the whole thing. If you're not subscribed to our Anchor or Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts, you can go over there. These are paid. So a lot of the times these podcasts, they're going to only give you a preview. You only can get the full episode if you come over here and share this and spread it around. So we're going to go on to the second newsletter. It says why self-confidence is key to overcoming adversity and never giving up. We're going to talk a little bit about self-confidence because sometimes people mix up the two between esteem and confidence. There's self-doubt, there's self-care, there's all these different self-terms. And the reason there's a whole lot of these terms is to get you to start looking internally to fix your problems. You know, whoever we elect in November is whoever becomes president. Whoever our parents are is whoever they are. Whoever our kids are is whoever they are. You know, we can't really control a lot of our external situations. It's like playing poker. You know, you can't help if the dealer gives you, you know, the cards they give you. You have to play the hand you got. You got to fight your genetics. You got to fight how, you know, if you grew up in poverty or if you were rich and entitled and you have to bring yourself down, you have those things outside weighing in. But there's a lot you can do internally going. So at Iconic, we drop new newsletters twice a week, maybe a couple more after that to promote news or whatever else is coming up. But all free subscribers will get newsletters like this. And you see right here for the picture of this newsletter, I used a female soldier on a rope. And it's pertaining to the story I tell you about my own self-confidence when I was a soldier. But self-confidence is our personal view on how we think we can do something. So if you can lift that kettlebell, if you can run that marathon, if you can raise kids, if you can get married, if you can run a business, self-confidence is the most beautiful thing you can possess. Because how we look, our race, our hair length, our teeth structure, that's something we might not control. So I talk about my personal story. In 2006, I joined the United States Army. You know, I was an athletic. I have a very, very, very big fear of heights. And so we had to go on this obstacle course, just like this lady is laying there going across the rope. When I got up on the rope, I was definitely afraid. It was so high. I stopped everybody behind me because I just froze like a goat. And I was watching people that were doing it. They were getting it done. They were going across the road, but for some reason, I just could not move. And they even brought out the high-ranking first sergeant, who's one of the highest-ranking leaders there, to try to cheer me on, you know. And if you don't have self-confidence, you can actually turn toxic because you're seeking other people to make up for your lack of feeling good about you. You pick up bad habits. You might even mess with drugs. You might hook up with the wrong men, ladies. Everything is just all bad because you're trying to fill in something that only you can fill it in. Only you can have self-confidence. You know, so I was on a journey to being a soldier. You know, I had already dropped out of college. I didn't have a husband. I was just doing all of these things, and I was wondering why. So what strategies did I employ to help me have self-confidence at that time that you can use today in the modern era? At this section in the newsletter, I posted the 6888 all-female battalion in World War II. They were the first women to actually serve the United States military ever. legitimately. Like there might have been women, you know, like Kathy Williams, who pretended to be men so they can do this. So here's what we did. This is how I got through the rope crawl. First, you got to remember your why. Why did you do this? When I was on that rope, I had two choices, either do it or fall, finish it or fail. I had to remember why I was on the rope in the first place. Why did I join the Army? Why did I wanted to do this? And I wanted to have a job that I was proud of, a purpose, you know, that I woke up every day for. And standing in my way was fear. So I either had to break that fear or I would have to go back home. And I decided to keep going and I started to crawl. Why? Because I had to put my reasons ahead of my fear. What I was trying to do had to be more important than my afraidness to do it, my scarediness to do it, my hesitation to do it. My self-confidence came from me remembering why I signed up in the first place. Why am I doing this? I didn't have to be a soldier. I could have went and got a job at a restaurant, you know, went and, you know, did something else. Who knows? But I had to remember why I decided to sign that dotted line. My husband didn't sign for me. My parents didn't sign for me. I was 20 going on 21. So I made the decision. Next, you have to use positive affirmations. If you want to have good self-confidence, you got to speak positively about yourself. And I'm still doing that to this day. Sometimes I catch myself. Sometimes my family will catch me. Why are you talking about yourself like that? Out of our heart is how we feel, and it comes out our mouths through our words. Proverbs 18:20 says, death and life are in the power of our tongue. That's the verse everyone knows. But the rest of the verse says, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. It means that if you love talking bad about yourself, you're going to eat fruit that's terrible. If you love talking positive about yourself, you're going to eat positive fruit. And remember, a good tree bears good fruit and a bad tree bears bad fruit. That means we have the power to over ourselves by what we say. In the Army, they have these quotes that are called the warrior ethos. It's 4 sentences inside of our soldier's creed. In the soldier's creed, we say it every day, and it was a mantra to keep us going. But in the warrior ethos, it says, I will never quit. I will never accept defeat. They teach us this thinking so it sticks with us as soldiers no matter what the mission is. If we're in Iraq, Afghanistan, if we're fighting Russia, fighting China, soldiers that are today, and I'm pretty sure the other military branches, they have something similar. It is to positively speak that we can win, that we are never giving up, that the people that came before us, they're on our shoulders, okay? You have to speak positively in your relationship. Yes, I'll be a good mother. Yes, I'll be a good wife. Yes, I can birth these kids. Yes, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. We speak our truth out of our mouths from our hearts. If we say we can't, we won't. If we say we can, we will at least show up. Stop speaking negatively over your life. Out of bad emotions, terrible experiences. Get the healing you need to so you can stop living in it. Remember, self-esteem, people with high self-esteem forgive themselves. Actually forgiving yourself, meaning you let it go. And as a Cancer and as just my own personality, I always get stuck in the past. And I always get stuck because I have regret. So I shoulda, woulda, coulda. But you cannot go back. You cannot unsex somebody. You can't go get your virginity back. You cannot go and not date that person who beat you in the eye. You have to let it go, and you have to let those things stop weighing you down that gonna drown you. Use your voice to give you power. That's why I have a podcast. That's why I'm helping you guys. My experiences can stop you from falling. If I fell in a hole and I saw the hole and I fell, why would I turn around and let people behind me fall in the same hole? And that literally happened to me in basic training. I literally bit the dust and fell in a hole. And I had to tell people that there were holes. Okay. Also, know your facts. Okay. A lot of times we have no confidence because we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. I had a therapist that talked to me when I have a fear of bridges, right? Going across the water bridges, right? She said, look up what bridges look like. See how engineers make bridges sturdy. Your self-confidence is because you don't trust bridges. You don't trust, you know, if they can keep you safe. So learn about them. I knew that there were people who went ahead of me across the road. So why was I scared when it was my turn? They did it. They're not better than me. We all the same rank. maybe coming from different backgrounds, whatever. But I knew that they made it to the other side. So I know making it to the other side was possible. It's not like I was the first one on the rope. The drill sergeant was wiggling the rope like, yeah, girl, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna make you fall. You know, he was trying to find a way to dig in me, the warrior that we kind of all have. But some of our warriors are asleep. Some of our warriors are dormant. Some of our warriors are not up to the task because of whatever trauma we're dealing with. Did you know that kids with higher self-confidence do well in sports and in school? People who are confident do better in emergencies and in life. Know that having self-confidence is your key to winning. Know that as a fact. Know that you need high self-confidence to get what you're trying to do. Some days you're not going to feel like getting up and making food for them kids, but you know your kids need you. When you're really sure to be a winner, you will not let nothing stand in your way. People will doubt you. There's a famous picture of Michael Phelps, the world famous American Olympic athlete. He is focused straight ahead on the task ahead. And then his next American, the number 2 guy, I can't even remember his name because he came in number 2. He's a good swimmer too. But in that picture, he was looking at Michael Phelps instead of at the task at hand. Know the facts so you can have self-confidence. Number 4 says, remember your history and your elders. When I remember the women who fought in the past in the military wars and what they went through, they fought in World War II, where the country was really racist, really sexist. You know, it took Mary Bethune-McCullough talking to Lady Roosevelt to even think about women soldiers, Black women soldiers. But it was so much fighting going on and we were losing men at a high rate. Why not? Why can't the women step up? And these women did it. They had to do mail handling, which I ended up doing myself. You don't understand how important, especially back then when they didn't have Twitter or cell phones or computers, how important it was for these soldiers to get messages from their home, which built their self-confidence because they heard from their wives and their kids, they heard from their families. You know, so when I was up on that rope, I couldn't just quit. I had mothers and wives and sisters. My own sister is a Navy sailor. What would have happened if my brother and sister, my brother is her twin is a Marine and she's in the Navy, I'm in the Army. I was the first one to go. If I would quit, what would that say about my family legacy? You know, now I have my husband because I did it, because we met in the Army. You know, and it wasn't Black or female in my way. By the time I decided to come back, many Black women did the thing and they got to where they was going. So that wasn't something I even had to come over. It was my own mindset. I had to remember my own history of overcoming challenges. I had to get over my fear of driving and get my driver's license. I had to, you know, have confidence to sign up for college and get scholarships. I had to give speeches in front of a bunch of kids when I had stage fright. I, in my own history, have proven that I have self-confidence at times. I come from a lineage of brave women. My mom had to drive big buses. She had to give birth to 6 kids. My grandmother gave birth to 7 kids. I have another grandmother that gave birth to 5 kids. I come from women who served. I got a cousin who was in the Army. I got another cousin who was in the Coast Guard in the Army. I have an auntie who served in the Army. Again, I'll tell you about my sister who served in the Navy. I come from women who don't give up, who raise kids, theirs or not, who teach kids, who work in the medical field. I have a cousin that's a judge. So I kept crawling, and I kept crawling, you know. This wasn't just for me. This is now a story. But in the moment of you living a story, you don't know that you're creating history for someone else. Now my daughter can say, my mama did that. My mama was in war. My mama was a sergeant like my daddy. We come from a family of warriors that don't give up, and not just to serve the United States government, but to serve each other, to serve our community, to serve those we love, to serve the Lord, you know. You have to understand the true meaning of courage. People think heroes are born or heroes are made, but sometimes you're not a hero until it is called upon you. You think that courage is not being afraid, but that's actually the opposite. Courage is actually what you do in spite of your fear. Everybody can talk about what they do or not going to do until it's time. We saw that during COVID. It was easy for people to take the jab because everybody else was doing it. But it wasn't hard to say no when people were calling you a grandma killer, or you killing babies, or you don't care about your community, or you da-da-da-da. Were you able to say no then? People say no and don't have sex. Don't lose your virginity. Can you stand up in the face of a guy that's really cute and that you love him? Ladies, these are real situations. Do you have the courage to do what is called upon you to do? You know, in the military, sometimes we don't see gear for us. Even though women serve, sometimes they go up to my husband and say, "Thank you for your service," and just keep going like I wasn't standing there, and we are together because of our service. Sometimes it's cool because I get the but nah, you know, women are pilots, women are cooks, women are doctors, women are teachers, women are mothers, information technology CEOs, vice president of the United States, governors, coaches, leaders. The most important thing some women can do is raise a new generation of human beings. Parenthood is way harder to me than anything I've ever done in the military, and I went to Iraq twice. And it's because I'm responsible for a lot of what happening with my children. Marriage is hard because you 100% in it. It's no 50-50. You 100%. They see you good, bad, and ugly. I know when that baby emerged out of my JJ, my husband seen it. My husband seen it all. And you know, we just have to do the work, fear not. You know, when those white buses pulled up for us to get on our flights to Iraq, it was too late to say, "Nah, I don't want to be a soldier now." Now we had to get on the buses and get on the plane. Time to go. We already took our picture that if we died over there, that's the picture everybody saw on the news and in our family. So it wasn't no time to worry about why did I sign up to go to war. You have to drown out the noise internally and externally. We all know about the naysayers, the haters, the people who say we can't, the family members who don't believe of us in that position. We know those people are gonna be talking and yakking. They be in your comments. They want to talk about your looks, talk about your voice, talk about this and that. If I worried about any of that, I would never have done anything with content creating. I would have never stepped out into this field. No way, no way. Because people analyze everything about you. Oh, you 38 with gray hair. Oh, you got those glasses on, you are 4-eye, you can't see. But the real drowning out, you have to drown out your own self-doubt. Can I do this really? Oh, I don't want to raise funds. I don't want to ask people to donate. I never asked people for anything. I always had a job. I always done something like this. I don't want to talk to people about my past. I don't want to write a book about my worst days ever. People would say things like I would give up, that leaders were wasting time on me. Like this girl wasn't taking it serious when I was delivering my baby. The doctor said I wasn't pushing hard enough. Like I wanted to smack him in the eye, but I ain't had time to smack him in the eye. I was laid up on the bed. I couldn't do nothing about them negative comments. Am I gonna listen to him or am I gonna get my son out before he died? I had to make a choice. Drown out the people who are saying some stupidity and get done what you need to get done. Haters will always exist. They'll hate you just for breathing up their air. Bad advice exists. Bad social media posts. People will post their kids and their hair done and they cute. And they never mark on the walls and they say yes sir and yes ma'am and they all behave well and everything and they will show their kids and be like blah 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 and be like, oh you had a C-section? Oh, I pushed my baby out with no pain medicine and 2 pumps. I said and my baby just came on up. You telling me they had to cut you deep? People always got something to say. They always got something to say, and you have nothing to prove to them. What they say about you is none of your business. Don't focus on that. Focus on your goal. Focus on your vision. Focus on your love. Focus on your family. I see too many people losing their freaking marriages and their kids, and they blame society, but it was their fault. They was too busy trying to talk all this mess on social media, trying to build their following. They're trying to go to all these events. Like, people are having babies and just jumping right back into it. What about your child? Who cares about a presidential campaign? What about your kids? You trying to save America? Save your household first. Let's get done when you got to get done. Sometimes we're in our own head too much. Get on the rope, crawl your ass across the rope, and get to the other side. I was wasting time. That's why the last one says do it anyway. Who cares if you're scared to climb that mountain? Who cares if you're scared to jump out that plane? Who cares if you're scared to cook that dish and the fire might burn down your house? Get the job done. You're never going to cut them onions if you're always afraid of your eyes burning. Get the onion cut. Get the dishes washed. Change that baby diaper. Go marry that man. What are you waiting for? Date up gonna change. You're gonna be married to him and he's still gonna be getting on your nerves. Nothing gonna change. Go get married. You cooking, you cleaning, y'all living together, y'all doing all that kind of stuff. Y'all need to be married. Why? Because why not? What are you waiting for? You're scared and you letting your fear stop you. And you know we don't do fear over here. We say break fear. The mission was for me to crawl across the rope and to get it done. So I got it done. I did it. I successfully finished the course to cheers and celebrations from people below. They thought for sure I was going to fall like some people who fell and just into the safety net. Nope, your girl did it. And I did what needed to be done. And I did it and I showed up. There are so many times I had to wake up early and didn't want to be there. I had to go and do the work. I had to go to formation when my stomach was hurting and I ain't eat nothing. Sometimes you just got to get it done. Like having a newborn baby, you got to wake up, put them on your boob, let them drink it, and lay them back down. You're like, oh, I'm so tired. But it's sacrifice. You know, you have to be willing to do that to get to your goals. Is your goal worth all of that? Maybe you need to reshape your goal. Maybe you really don't want to do this. Maybe you're only doing this because this is something your family had you do. Maybe you only do this because you think this is something women supposed to do. You will be blessed when you finish. It was such a good feeling because I was terrified. If I had to do it again today, I still would be terrified. I know what that course looked like. But since I did it, now I know I can do it again. Just like I know right now I'm not in the best shape, but I was in the best shape before, so I can do it again. And if I don't make it, at least I showed up and tried. Just like today, I don't feel good. My face is not as pretty as it could be. But talking to you, dear lady, is important. I want you to understand that you're blessed, that you are amazing. And whatever God has on your heart to do, we need you to do it. I show up to tell you you can do it. Marcus Garvey has a quote that says, with confidence, you have won before you have started. Have you ever sabotaged something? Like, I don't know if I'm gonna make this job interview. I don't know if this boy gonna say yes to me. I don't know if my parents are gonna be proud. You're already in the wrong headspace. Self-confidence only can come from you, can only come from deep down inside. You can take a big task and change it into small little tasks to get to your goal. It's always like the saying, how do you eat a big cake? You eat it one slice at a time. You know, you can change how you get to your goal if that's what's making you scared, if that's what's messing you up. I don't care what the manosphere or the red pill space or social media or X or people say about women are useless, women are only have their sex, women don't bring nothing to the table. Drown out that noise. I don't care what some guy says about women on social media. They don't define me. Sometimes I push back so you ladies can see that we can stand up and push back. My husband doesn't talk to me like that. Why should someone online? But some people are only also doing it to get you upset, to get you to react, to get you to spread their stuff. Some people don't even talk like that to their women in their real life. There was a parody video I watched where a guy was like, yeah, women suck. Oh, sorry, babe. you know, so they can record and do that. So you never know what some people's real motives are. Okay, we're gonna go into this iconic news. I gotta tell you guys this news. So Coach always loves using Pew Research. She uses Pew Research a lot. And she said, go to Pew Research and see what's in there. And I went down a rabbit hole. I said, wait a minute, I'm in a marriage space. She's in a whole different space. Let me look and see what Pew Research has. And whenever I find out anything in the marriage, family, couple, life, love, marriage space, I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna let y'all know. And the reason I want to let y'all know is because I want to give y'all the facts. A lot of people like spewing data. A lot of people don't know how to aggregate data. They don't know that if, some say 30% of people believe it, that means 70% don't. You got to be able to understand what these numbers mean. And I'm not going to treat you guys like you're dumb. I'm going to put the information out there and then you guys go with it and y'all go run with it. But this is going to be called my new breaking news iconic. And it might be a newsletter that pops up randomly because I'm researching a lot. So I just went on to Pew Research and I'm going to tell you the marriage statistics is not looking good. I mean, it's looking good for like Black families and things, but in certain other areas, it's not. So for example, it says 1/4 of 40-year-olds in America have never been married at all. I personally don't see that as a bad thing. I'd rather people stay single until they really know what they're doing, because a lot of people are also divorced at 40. So, and they've been married and they went through that whole thing. So that's really not a judgment call. I'm just telling you the numbers. Number 2, public view of families are complicated. Americans are more pessimistic than optimistic about the institution of marriage and family. And that's over 40%. And I put the charts below the newsletter. Also, it says marriage and families and parenthood are seen as less important to live in a fulfilling life. They're saying it's not as important to get married and have kids to be fulfilled. And that's subjective, I believe, because, how would you know if you're not married? Or, well, what would you say if your marriage didn't work? Then we got unhappy couples stay in marriages too long. I've seen that with my own eyes, but also that's really none of my business. I'll give you tips. You do what you want with it. Also, Pew Research, and I gave you the link so you can go look at it yourself. Adult children have a great deal or fair amount of assistance, financial assistance to the elderly parents who need this type of support. And that's true. My parents are up there in age and they're sick and they need a lot of help. My family up in Maryland, where I'm from, they help them. I'm not able to actually help them up there because I don't live up there. And I mean, they do a lot on their own. My parents have been making it work for 40 years. So they haven't said anything to me, so they're good. I know they could be better, can't we all? But, my siblings who live closer, they take care of them. And then me and my husband are trying to figure out ways to take care of my mother-in-law. And we want to just give back to the people who gave to us, if they're struggling. And I know that should be the other way around. That's why we're trying to set up things for our children, an inheritance, land, something that they can do better when we are up out of here. We got a short amount of time on this planet, but giving back to our elders, giving to our children, our generation does that a lot. And, I used to be a little bit bitter about it just because I want to do more and I feel like I can't. Who doesn't want to be a millionaire, billionaire just to help the poor or help family? But I'm not going to stress that much. We're going to do what we can do, live in reality, do what we can do, help them where they need help, not try to take over anything. And I posted these pictures of the actual data graphs. Some of them I need to go in and edit because I think I might have posted too many more than once. But I want you guys, if you got a chance, this is a free article to go and take a look at the data. Like I said, as I get more data, I'm going to definitely give it to you guys. I know everybody likes to cite the 70% divorce rate, but I've just looked at new data about men and getting custody for their kids, the family court system. And it's not to bash men and women. I don't use data that way. I don't know why other people are like, well, it's 70%, then women are wrong. That doesn't help, bashing people. That's not what we do here. That's why I said there's no blue, red pill, none of that over here. We don't take pills. We're not big pharma. There's no pills. We do a formula because math formulas work, right? We do a formula and we tell you the ingredients in the formula. Do you drink formulas or juices and stuff that you don't know what's inside of there? I wouldn't. You shouldn't either. Okay. And, even though it says 40%, like this graph right here, it said 40% of people are pessimistic. It also said 29% was neither here nor there. So if we lower the 40% and up the people who don't go either or way, they have this view of marriage that is terrible. And I'm sorry, the way some people talk about marriage out here, I wouldn't get married. Like, man, if marriage was like y'all saying, I would be single too. What does this all mean? This means that the American outlook, even if it's just opinions, is not a good one. And I'm out here to persuade you that's not the case. And I'm going to, because of how I love my husband so much and all he's done for me, all he's done this weekend, everything he has contributed to my family and me too, that I'm going to make it my mission to at least be a counter argument to this. I do not feel like I'm in prison married. I do not feel unhappy married. This is my safe space. This is my peace. We might get on each other's nerves. We might argue here and there. We might butt heads because he's from Georgia. I'm from Maryland. We both alpha-minded. We both NCOs in the military. We both had to learn how to love the correct way. We've been so hurt that we know what hurt looked like. We don't know what right. We didn't know what right looks like. You so used to, trying to navigate problems and issues. Do you actually know? When he said, "Hey girl, put this dress on," do I think that he trying to tell me what to do, or do I get excited because he about to take me somewhere? Those things are people who are seasoned in a relationship. They know. A girl just getting married, she didn't know. She went and put some pants on just to be contrarian to her man. I know y'all seen that post. I know y'all seen that post of her wearing them khaki pants at her proposal. And she was like, "Oh no, why am I wearing this?" I'm like, you could have just listened to him. Yeah, he might. Somebody said he didn't say it right. Do you think my husband say everything the way I want? Do you think I do? You hear how I sound now. No. But he like, go put a dress on. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run and go put a dress on. Yeah, you could tell me what to do, but I don't know. I might be a little submissive, so I might be like, yeah, I do what you tell me to do. I laugh because that is so funny. You really about to mess up your proposal because you don't want to be told what to do? What if it's a burning house and he said, "Get out the house"? You can be like, you could have said that nice. The house is on fire. I'm also a veteran, so I just don't. That's just so funny. You think we minced our words and waited until somebody's feelings was better before we said something? We told you get off your ass, climb the rope, and get across the shit so we can get this shit done. Excuse my language to you Christian folks, but sometimes when you're in the military, you're in a war zone, you ain't got time to say stuff pretty. It reminds me of Lamar Jackson, the Ravens quarterback. I just saw his interview, and he was talking about, they said, "What did you say to your guys in the locker room that made them come back stronger after the half?" He said, "What I said, I can't tell y'all out here. I can't tell y'all." You'll be like, "Lamar Jackson talk like that? Oh, well, y'all gonna write think pieces about it." That's why he was like, "Nope, I'm not gonna tell you, that's locker room talk." And, so yeah, God is still working on my mouth. I'm sorry, you guys, but you get what I mean. I had to say it like that to understand that your spouse loves you. You worried about how he's telling you to put on the dress. We worry about so many different things, but we don't have our focus. Like, people are worrying about memes and stuff, and it's time to we got till November. Somebody about to be our president. Our communities are falling apart. We got homelessness. It's cold. People need jackets and food. This isn't good news, but news is never stuck that way. Okay, I'm here to offer you hope. Hope seems lacking in our society. And that faith is the evidence of things hoped for, but it's not seen. I mean, we don't have to see America having a whole bunch of families yet to believe we can get there. That's why I'm the visionary of this, because I envision, and I'm not saying everybody's meant to be married. I'm asking you guys to please like and share this stuff. We want to get people empowered. We want to grow our iconic community. This is not my thing I'm giving to you. This is our thing. This is our time. This is our movement. We are the counterculture to push back on all of this man and fear nonsense, all of these women complaining and toxic, all these people who are saying, divorce should be the norm, baby moms. People don't even assume somebody's married. They just say, you got a baby daddy or whatever. like and share and subscribe to Miss Pinky Thoughts wherever you see us. If you see us on YouTube, if you are subscribed to our audio podcast, let people know. If you do it through our referral system, you will get some gifts and rewards. I'm going to start using stuff from my merch shop and everything. I love giving out free products, but I only can do that with sponsors and support. Again, we have an event coming up on January 27th with the Conscious Conservative Movement, where we're giving out materials to families in Atlanta, and we're probably going to spread this out to the country, giving out 25 books that you can support. PayPal, me, MRSE, I can pay $25. You get on our pre-order list for our 6th book.